سبحانك فقنا عذاب النار. آمين. ربنا إنك من تدخل النار فقد أخزيته وما للظالمين من أنصار. آمين. ربنا إننا سمعنا مناديا ينادي للإيمان أن آمنوا بربكم فآمنا ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئات.
حي يا قيوم على لا إله وكلوا يا حي يا قيوم على لا ọba tí kò pé méjì yá ayò yá qayyum kò pé méjì kò pé mẹ́ta.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome all of us to this edition of the program. The topic we are going to discuss today is pandemic and Islam. We will wonder what pandemic has to do with Islam. Islam is not only a religion, but a way of life. It has taken care of all activities of a human being, be it a Muslim, a non-Muslim as well. The Quran sends through Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the generality of the world is a very comprehensive package. And it has taken care of all activities of human beings. The Quran says, there is no aspect of a human life that the Quran has not discussed, not the minutest aspect of human life. Therefore, whatever situation a human being finds itself, like we have in the world today, the COVID-19 called coronavirus, the pandemic, is a thing that is ravaging the whole world as at now, and is causing a lot of problem. The situation we have found ourselves is not new to the Muslims, although we don't call for it. Our prayers is that Almighty Allah should save us from this heinous pandemic. When situations like this occur, a Muslim should go back and think seriously over it. A situation where we have closed all mosques, particularly in this Ramadan, all the congregational activities of the Muslims have ceased. And people think that now that we cannot worship as we were used to, what is happening? Is life coming to an end? What are we going to do as Muslims? Are you not going to be such changed because we can't do many activities? No. Life cannot be the same every time, every day, every year. No. What is expected of a Muslim is to recourse back to the statements of Allah variously in the Quran. Number one, God has told us that when you have normal situations, don't expect that normal situation will endure for life. You must expect abnormal situation. And abnormal situation dot life of every one of us. This is an abnormal situation. And God has alerted us in Quran chapter 2, verse 155, thus, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ فَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. God said that we will start to test you variously. God said He can test us with a loss of property. He can test us with hunger, meaning that there will be some time that We'll be hungry, we don't have anything to eat. There will be time of surplus. There will be time of hunger. There will be time of a loss of property. There will be time of loss of human beings, our relations. And we should exercise patience. When we exercise patience, that will be better for us. Anybody who exercises patience and knows that that kind of thing will come from time to time, that is a good Muslim. How do we know? You can only know when we read the Quran. The Quran meaning something we read from time to time. Quran is from qira'ah, reading, reciting. Something we recite every day is Al-Quran. Something you recite every time. Now, if that is taken for granted, it means when things like this occur, we should know though this is the time God has brought. What we need to do is to pray to God to avert the situation. How do we settle the situation? We continue to follow the prescription of our medicaments. Then we continue to pray to the Almighty Allah who can elevate us. Now, we are talking of pandemic that has ravaged the world. There is a spiritual angle to it. The angle is that nobody has any power except Allah who has created us. It means that people who have arrogated powers to themselves should have a rethink. This is the time that it will behove everybody that so we don't have any power. All the so-called powers of the world, all the so-called first country in the world, where are they today? People have been talking about Third World War as if war is a tea party. We always tell people that don't think of war. Even in Nigeria here, you know, if you enter into war, you do that. You can only know, perhaps, when the war starts, the beginning of the war. You can't know how it ravages. It can consume the person who predicts it. But now, this is the Third World War. This is Third World War. Nobody has fired any gun. No bomb has been sent. Yet, every person, even if those of us who have not been affected, we feel the pinch, the anxiety is there. We know what it means. You can't move. There are some states that are locked down. You can't move anywhere. That is enough a punishment. Where is the bomb? Where is the war? This is the greatest war being fought, being meted out to human beings by Almighty Allah himself. And this is the time everybody should know that Almighty Allah has the absolute power. Nobody has the powers like him. Nobody should arrogate anything to himself. You have heard of prime ministers that have been afflicted by this pandemic. You have heard of even Queen of England is affected. All those important people in the world, even in Nigeria here, you have heard of state governors that have been affected. Where are we? If it has happened in Africa, our people who have the resources will have departed to the what they call the sane world, the advanced countries, to seek for. Those of us who don't have the money, where do we run to? But alas, the thing started from there. Even those who are there are yearning to come to tropical world, so that what we have here is infinitesimal in count if you compare it with what is taking place there. So it is not new to any Muslim who knows what he's doing, who is worth his salt. And no scientific person, no scientist is greater than Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is the greatest scientist of the world. God created sciences for development. But before the age of science, the prophet has adopted science. He knew everything, and he was doing it to the level of the understanding of people. There are a lot of sciences in the Quran we have not discovered up to now. At the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was epidemic, not pandemic. That epidemic happened somewhere, and the Prophet legislated. He directed, look, the solution is that those who are there must not move out. They must not move out. Nobody should move there. People who are there should try to cure those people with that epidemic. Here you have pandemic. During the time of Umar, another epidemic happened, and he directed so, because it had become a sunnah from Prophet Muhammad. When Umar was the Khalif, he directed the same thing. This is the dose that the Prophet used, and it subsided. Now, the world are saying that where you have the pandemic, don't go there, nobody should move out. Something, the antidote the Prophet had prescribed and used for in more than 1,400 years ago. We are just applying it. And that is Islam. That is Islam for you, that has taken care of all aspects of human life. What do we need to do? Is to look, anybody who does not take to Islam as a religion, well, it's not just a religion, it's a way of life. And that will not be accepted. It's not acceptable by God at all. And that's why Muslims must be rest assured that we're on the right path. Islam is not a religion that will tell you you can only pray. We must abide by the rules. The Quran says, follow the directives of Allah, follow the directives of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and follow the directives of your leaders, those who are made leaders over you. When this thing happened, government directed that people should not go. They should not go out. They should not move from one place to the other. People should, where it is happening, should not move down. Many of our people who don't understand Islam, they refused. They said no, because they are gullible, holier than thou. They didn't know. They are saying they want to prevent us from performing salat. They want to prevent, no. If you don't take to the directives of the government, except government directs you in a bad way. Any directives of government that is against, that is antithetical to the directives of God, there it is, then you can protest. No, this is un-Islamic. But this is Islamic. All mosques should be closed, should be shut. Yes. And people are saying, we will not engage in a congregational salat alone. No. We started educating them. Congregational salat starts from 2 people. You and your wife at home. You and your brother at home. You and your sister at home can perform congregational salat. You cannot confine God into the mosque, like in some other religions. God is not only existing in the mosque. He's everywhere. And everywhere that is clean is a mosque. The Prophet said it. So if you pray in your house alone, God is there for you. If you pray with a person, you have abided by the congregation. Salatul Jama'a khairun min salatul fadhi bi sab'i wa 20 daraja. The Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that if you engage in congregational salat, the benefit is 27 times more better than individual salat. Yes, if that is the fear of our people. No, a person with you is a congregation. If you have a person with you and you perform salat together, you have formed a congregation. That is the simplicity of Islam. The Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, don't make things difficult for people. Don't make this deen, Islam, don't make it difficult for people. Let it be so easy. Make it easy for people. And why do we, why do we need to engage in difficulties? Granted, people have asked questions that, okay, in the Ramadan, during the Ramadan now, you can perform Salat Tarawih together as we do in the mosque. Yes, don't go into the mosque. Don't do it in the mosque. Don't spread disease. If you spread disease amongst the congregation, who are those to come and form congregation again? If you perform Salat in congregation in the mosque, and the disease spreads among people, 3/4 of people cannot come tomorrow. What is the achievement? No, there's no achievement. What we are saying is that since God created us, he knew the composition of human beings he had created. And he knows what befits us. And he has given us the manual in forms of a constitution that we have as the Quran. That person has followed God. What else do we want? And it is that God that we asked the prophet to tell us that congregation starts from 2. The 2 of you at home. Even if people visit you, let them engage in sanitation. When they engage in sanitation and they are with you, and it is time for Salat, congregate together and perform Salat. There is no problem, no harm. But whatever will harm you, God does not want you to engage in it. You don't use your whim. There is no way pandemic here. We must perform Salat. No. You are not conforming. And in any case, Muslims, we have prevented all these things. Any Muslim that is worth his salt will never be affected. Take to instruction. And the hygienic thing they ask us to do, the Muslims have engaged in it. It is embedded in our activities on a daily basis. The mechanism put in place in our daily salat is that you must perform ablution. You must perform ablution. Once you perform ablution, you wash your hand 3 times. Alal-akol. The minimum you can wash, just ensure that it covers your hand. You wash your mouth, minimum of 3 times. Your nose, your face, your hand, your head, your leg. Meaning that a minimum of 5 times a day, we wash ourselves. We engage in this hygiene. And the government has recommended that we do it 4 times a day. Meaning that Muslims are already doing it more than. The only thing is that for the purposes of pandemic, we can use soap to wash our hands before we start to perform ablution. That is in addition. But for Muslims, we are okay. So why are we afraid? All the results, the antidotes is in the Quran. Only we need to understand what is in the Quran and to conform with it. So there's nothing new. This pandemic thing, I want to urge Muslims, whatever directives from government, please let us do in addition to what we have. A situation where people will congregate unfettered. They engage in unfettered congregation, like we always see in the market and in other places. This is not right. This is not right for a Muslim to do. Because when the thing starts to affect us, we cannot blame God. Then, we must be careful in wherever we go. If they say we cover our nose, let us cover it. It will be in addition to our sanitation already. Because you have to mingle with people. You have to talk to the people. If they say don't shake hands, is shaking hands part of mandatory in Islam? If you look at chapter 27, what God says that if you visit a place or other people, it is salamat. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That does not mean you must hug, you must shake. Shaking is not compulsory. So you can discard shaking. You can discard hugging. Even it has added to what our women do. Our women don't shake men. It is this Western system that you must hug yourself. Why should you hug? The opposite sex do hug themselves. So let us conform. Don't let us discountenance all these prescriptions. They are very real. And Muslims, you will see Muslims all over. Before authorities say we should close up our mosque, we have closed it because our worship of God is not confined into the mosque alone. Our home are mosque for us. Every one of us who have our homes, we have our mosque. We worship with our family at home. So that does not stop us. Then what do we call, why do we have this pandemic? Some people will say God is annoyed with us. No. We should not seek for the annoyance of Almighty Allah. Nobody can withstand it. If God is annoyed and he visits it on human beings, nobody can withstand it. It's not possible. The result of what we are doing, we are seeing now, is caused by the cause is by human beings ourselves. Let us read about various prophets of Allah that had come before Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look at Noah. Prophet Noah alayhi salam came. He preached for 950 years, and a handful of people believed in him. He had to call on God to cancel them on the land. Look at Lut. Lut came preach to people. People engaged in sodomy. And for that one alone, God was annoyed. He canceled them on the land. The nation, the whole world at that time was cancelled. Saul lived the same thing. All of them. Now, we look at what we have combined together to now. Not only sodomy, not only lewat, man marrying a man. We now have lesbianism, a woman marrying a woman, and we celebrate it. And the so-called advanced world are now compelling the third world, like Nigeria, to ensure that we liberalize it. Everybody does whatever he likes. A man can marry a man. That is not. Now it's not happening in Nigeria. But look at what is happening in the world. God said in the Quran that fear a situation where some people will cause problem and a lot of people will be affected. That is what is happening now. The solution to it is that we go back to God. So that we understand that, just bear in mind that our reward is in the heaven, so that will jeer us to do what is good. May Almighty Allah assist us to know what is good and to be ready to do it, and to know what is bad and to be ready to discard it, so that all the blessings of Allah that He has prescribed for those who do His wish will not elude us. That is our prayers. But let us ensure that we try our best to do what is good for God and to do what is good for human beings. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Àánú
Allahu Lateef.
Tàbá lọ níwájú Olúwàjà ara láàánú. Tàbá tó ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn dákúnjà ara láránṣẹ́. Lórí iṣẹ́ wa Olúwàjà ara láàánú. Lórí àwọn ọmọ Olúwàjà ara láránṣẹ́. Kódà lójú oorun Ọlọ́run jà ara láàánú. Ó ti kù mẹ́ta, ó ti kù méjì. Ẹyọ kan tó kù rè o. Allahu Lateef, la ilaha illallah. Allahu Lateef, la ilaha illallah.